first put it that most of the equipment that the Pakistanis have, Chinese equipment. As I said, 80% of the equipment that Pakistan has is from China, presuming that they have a certain amount from Turkey also, because Turkey seems to have given them a lot, and maybe they also have started developing with in collaboration with the Chinese and Turkey. But irrespective of what they were having it, the air defense wasn't there. And that system probably failed. Like the previous night, all of them again were sort of, I would say, hit, eliminated, and none of them made an impact that was that they thought would make. So there's a very good air defense cover. Well, the S-400s, the other missiles manufactured by the DRDO, the even the handheld missiles, various anti-drone systems that were in place, and all of it worked to such a large extent that despite the Pakistanis wanting to attack 15 of these airfields extending from Rajasthan, Punjab, going up to Jammu and Kashmir, and even Leh for that matter, and you found that all these missiles and drones fired, and yesterday even the aircraft that took off to hit Indian targets, they were also brought down.
Right.
GF-17s have been brought down, F-16 has been brought down, and AVAC has been brought down. So, and a pilot has become a PW. So there is a lot that has happened. But yes, it's something which Pakistanis themselves may not have sort of thought that they would be so bad that all of it got compromised or neutralized in a manner that the Chinese equipment, I don't think has actually been battle tested, resulting in what has happened now. Very good for us, but definitely it would have earned a bad name the world over, because Pakistan today seems to be equipped with the Chinese equipment. And if the Chinese have given them, or maybe the Pakistanis didn't know how to operate it, or had some other ways to operate, or they were not given the best that they thought they had the best. Something has definitely happened, or we've been able to counter it in such a superb manner that they were all of it were neutralized and made no dent whatsoever.
Hi, you're watching the Times of India, and I am joined by Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni today. He was one of the first troops, he was a captain then, to land at the Siachen Glacier during India's Operation Meghdoot. That was way back in 1984. Sir, your first reaction to round two Operation Sindoor that went on along India's international border last night?
Thank you very much, firstly, to have invited me. A pleasure always interacting with you, ma'am. Well, my first reaction, well, I would say, well done. And that's the way it should be. Hit back, and hit back hard, because this is the fight against terror. And we must mince no words, neither reduce our intensity of operations when it comes to wiping of the terror, because this is something which is a menace which must be eradicated. And all of us, irrespective of where we stay in the world, are badly affected, and we as Indians are affected the most. And I think right till you can say 9/11, the West also did realize what we were going through, and we know what we were going through since 1947 till date. I remember in 1977 when I would be posted in Tangdar, and every time I would be going up and down, every time people did ask me, "आप इंडिया से आए? आप इंडिया से आए?" So it used to be as a youngster, I would feel very bad. What do you mean India से आए? Where आप कहाँ से आए? So they would say, "नहीं, हम कश्मीर के हैं, आप इंडिया से आए." So that kind of a feeling, I think maybe the separatist feeling, the Pakistanis decided to exploit, and that exploitation of that feeling is probably uh, gone too far without realizing that they were ruining the people of Jammu and Kashmir and ruining themselves in the bargain, resulting in spreading terror not just in India but the entire world. And you saw 9/11 when America got it, and we had Osama bin Laden found just next to the Park Military Academy. That's where I think the world realized, noticed, and probably got to realize what India was saying, that we are the victims of terror, and this is what terror all about. So it was, I wouldn't say, that maybe that, let's put it very politely, that the realization set in after 9/11, and the ones
Mm.
whom they were helping, Pakistan, were the ones who were involved in it. Can you imagine the man from Al Qaeda, the person who knocked off, who planned, who did everything? The Pakistanis were sheltering him so close to their own military academy. Unimaginable. So that's the way Pakistan, and someone that Pakistan were benefiting from. They were benefiting from United States of America. All the aid. We've seen 65 war, they were using American equipment. 71 war, they were using American equipment. 99 Kargil, they were still using American equipment. It's now that they are using 80% of the equipment is Chinese. So there is now a shift. So all these years, what the Pakistanis have admitted themselves, the ministers admitted, the defense ministers admitted to say that yes, we were for last 3 decades at the behest of the Americans, equipping, training into terrorism. What Musharraf said, well, we were coalition partners to the United States to push the Soviet Union out of Afghanistan, and thereafter, all these jihadists, whether under the garb of being mercenaries or he called them mujahideens, and yet Taliban, and then the Afghans. So all of these, he admitted to say that were being trained in Pakistan, and once the Soviet Union was thrown out of Afghanistan, this entire lot was still in Pakistan. That's what he said.
Mm.
So there were a lack of people in Pakistan, and if not Musharraf, as late as Imran Khan admitted to say there were about 20 to 30,000 of them in Pakistan. So if that be the number, then we know that what we were going through. And I thought it was enough is enough with what they did at Pahalgam. So this Operation Sindoor was to what they did at Pahalgam, and with a little difference that they segregated people on the basis of
Agree.
religion. That was, I think, the point which probably, uh, well, hurt everybody in India, that this is not what they ought to have been done. And what they did at Pahalgam, picking up people and then killing 26 innocent people. One amongst them was Adil, a local from that area of Pahalgam, and
Mm.
one from the from Nepal, and the rest of them all our own people
Indians.
who were there as tourists. But that was something that I think a tipping point where it was unbearable, and the entire nation. This one incident has got the entire nation together to make them feel that look, enough is enough. It's time we taught whoever they were, and we could catch those terrorists. They're still missing. One doesn't know when they'll get caught. And if you take back your mind, a similar incident occurred because tourists were never ever sort of targeted in
Right.
Jammu and Kashmir, because that was the basic source of income. And source of income, because over 2 crore tourists were going to Jammu and Kashmir, and a huge amount of development after the abrogation of Article 370. People were slowly and steadily coming on, well, quite happy with the kind of development, the kind of empowerment, the kind of money that they were making from tourism, and the new medical colleges coming up, engineering colleges coming up, management schools coming up. So there was well, basically all quite happy with the new changes that are there, but all this was not to the liking of Pakistan, and
Really,
therefore,
a sore, thing which was sticking out was the development of Kashmir, and perhaps that's what led to the Pahalgam massacre that occurred almost a couple of weeks or 3 weeks ago. But sir, tell me this: 50 Pakistani drones neutralized in the span of a a few hours, literally. What does this say about India's air defense systems, and how sharp have the air defense systems of India become in the recent past, and how?
see, there are two things to it, Aditi. I would first put it that most of the equipment that the Pakistanis have, Chinese equipment. As I said, 80% of the equipment that Pakistan has is from China, presuming that they have a certain amount from Turkey also, because Turkey seems to have given them a lot, and maybe they also have started developing with in collaboration with the Chinese and Turkey. But irrespective of what they were having it, the air defense wasn't there. And that system probably failed. And on the very first day, the 7th of May, when the retaliation by India after what uh, the Pakistanis did to having opened up with their drones and missiles and things of those kind, and then subsequently in the morning, we found that the air defense in Lahore was totally neutralized with so many drones. Even I didn't know that there were drones being fired from our side, and they were destroying. Virtually, you could see Rawalpindi, Karachi, Lahore, all over Sialkot, under attack. And then subsequently, again the next following day, the Pakistanis again attacked in the night with missiles and drones, and all of them, like the previous night, all of them again were sort of, I would say, hit, eliminated, and none of them made an impact that was that they thought would make. So there was a very good air defense cover. Well, the S-400s, the other missiles manufactured by the DRDO, even the handheld missiles, various anti-drone systems that were in place, and all of it worked to such a large extent that despite the Pakistanis wanting to attack 15 of these airfields extending from Rajasthan, Punjab, going up to Jammu and Kashmir, and even Leh for that matter. And you found that all these missiles and drones fired, and yesterday even the aircraft that took off to hit Indian targets, they were also brought down.
Right.
JF-17s have been brought down, F-16 has been brought down, and AVAC has been brought down. So, and a pilot has become a PW. So there is a lot that has happened. But yes, it's something which Pakistanis themselves may not have sort of thought they would be so bad that all of it got compromised or neutralized in a manner that 65, as I said, the equipment used was American. 71, equipment used American. Kargil war, equipment used American. And this particular engagement with India, the equipment used is Chinese. So whether the
What does
equipment was
this say?
bad,
This is sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but what does this say about the quality of these Chinese equipment? Because this is perhaps the first time China has been developing high-level defense equipment for quite some time, but it's never been used in a situation of war. I mean, perhaps this is the first chance that the Chinese defense equipment is seeing the light of the day, and which is why perhaps America and other nations are also watching very closely as to how these systems would operate. What does this suggest to you about the Chinese defense equipment?
see, I would put it that the Western equipment seems more tested and has seen some battles and well under some quite heavy engagements, actually engaging targets, preventing their vulnerable areas, vulnerable points from drones, missiles, aircraft. Uh, but the Chinese equipment, I don't think has actually been battle tested, resulting in what has happened now. Very good for us, but definitely it would have earned a bad name the world over because Pakistan today seems to be equipped with the Chinese equipment. And if the Chinese have given them, or maybe the Pakistanis didn't know how to operate it, or had some other ways to operate, or they were not given the best that they thought they had the best. Something has definitely happened, or we've been able to counter it in such a superb manner that they were all of it were neutralized and made no dent whatsoever. Like one of the I heard in the on the social media, one of the Pakistanis saying that 24 missiles hit 9 targets, and they were able to hit those people over there. Though he did not say that they were either terrorists or some anti-national or whatever that is. He said there was 9 locations which were hit, and not one missile was intercepted. Unlike where Iran fired thousands of missiles on Israel, at least Israel was able to intercept 99%, and probably one odd just may have escape. So he said that's the difference. And here, not
In
even
fact, the
one.
same
What?
thing. In fact, the same thing, sir, happened last night alongside the Indian borders. We
Absolutely.
intercepted all
Absolutely.
of the 50 swarm drones that Pakistan sort of fired our way. But what does this say about the Pakistan Army's preparedness? Normally, you would expect perhaps some sort of a war game. You would war game something, and then you would sort of go out there and hit your targets and make a plan, a strategy, and then go around. But they seemed to be completely clueless. They came, they were repelled immediately. So they probably not war gamed this enough. Do you believe that?
No, I think they would have war game, but somewhere down the chain, I don't think there's something really good in the Pakistan army because the jihadi chief is seems to be a problem. That's the perception I get because the way he's gone about it, it is totally anti-India and as bad luck. Even Ziaul Haq was from Jalandhar, Pervez Musharraf was from Chandni Chowk, and Asif Munir is from Jalandhar. So you can well
Hmm.
imagine all three Mahajirs, and all three seem to feel that they must hate India, with Ziaul Haq wanting to say that we will bleed India with 1,000 cuts because Zulfikar Ali Bhutto said that we would fight with India for another 1,000 years. So he brought in the 1,000 cuts, and you had Musharraf encouraging them with a jihadist mindset and sort of total support, training, logistics, equipment to Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e Mohammed, and Hizbul Mujahideen, and saying it openly, ये तो जी हमारे हीरो थे, हीरो है, हीरो. That's the kind of mindset. And here's another man who's now as the chief of the army staff, and who seems to be just following their footsteps and a little more radical, a little more fundamentalist, and a little more trying to bring in a divide between the two nations on basis of religion. And that's what seems to have either gone against him, because I don't think the Pakistani public would have realized that over the years that this Pakistan army, which seems to be having the whole country to itself, is corrupt, is rather using the people, the resources of Pakistan only to amass wealth and go settle abroad and have a best of time. And after retirement, just move on. And this Fauji Foundation of Pakistan makes about almost $30 billion a year over and above what the government of Pakistan spends on them, which is about $10 billion. So $10 billion the Pakistan spends on their armed forces, which is about 5.5 lakhs, and another $30 billion is what they make from business. And yet, and most of it, they are all over the world, America, China, wanting aid or free weapons, and you have almost $390 million being given by the United States to Pakistan to maintain that fleet of F-16. So that's the way Pakistan is all about, and that's where what Pakistan probably is what it is today, using terrorism as an instrument of state policy, because their entire investment, I understand, in 2000 was about 1,000 crores in Jammu and Kashmir, which they have now over 25 years gone to say about 5,000 crores. The revenue generation of J&K is about 20,000 crores. The government of India spends about 1,20,000 crores. So revenue generation of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, if it is 20,000 crores, which is the revenue generation, you have 5,000 crores coming from the neighboring country pumped in only for terrorism. And that's like pocket money being given to them for doing nothing but killing people and spreading their ideology. And yet another whatever 1,20,000 crores that the government of India spends over there is primarily for the development, which is bringing in about 2 crore tourists over there. From where the generation of revenue is there for the Union Territory of J&K. So there's so much this thing, and probably even now also I feel, Aditi, that local politician, he hasn't got out of that abrogation of Article 370, and that seed of separatism is just also there among some people because they don't seem to come out openly. And until and unless there's this network of OGWs, these overground workers, the network of the sleeper cells in league with the Pakistan terror organization and the ISI, I don't think it can ever succeed. The OGWs make it successful for Pakistan to do what they want to do because there are a whole lot of anti-national people. Maybe a small percentage, but that percentage small is also huge because they are able to give them, they can guide them, they can show them, they can make, they help them do reconnaissance, they can keep them at their homes, feed them, equip them, and give them rest, all of it. And in a cold area like Union Territory of J&K, where if it's snowing or if it's very bad weather, foggy, misty, being able to stay in the jungle, stay in caves, stay in the, tree trunks, wherever there is. So how is it possible until unless there is local support? And that local support
Absolutely.
also now, this is an opportunity. As much as we're knocking off the terror, all this infrastructure in Pakistan, though we are not at war with Pakistan, we are definitely only eliminating terror. And the entire, that is why we have restrained non-escalatory. So we have all along been ensuring restrained and non-escalatory and only targeting the terror camps in, it unfortunately happened to be in Pakistan. Because Pakistan is
Oh,
always a constant denial mode. They will never accept that any of these are terror organizations. According to him, Musharraf, ये तो हमारे hero है. And even to what you can well imagine is this 4 or 5 people who have killed 26 innocent people. The entire Pak army is willing to attack India. On
yeah.
the contrary, we should have said, sorry, who are these idiots? We will help you all. Come on, we will help you all. How can they spoil relations between two neighbors? Instead of that, you have a jihadi chief who wants to, and not only that, those people who are dead, 70, 100, whatever the number that have died over there for terrorists, what a funeral. All the coffins
Yeah.
wrapped up in Pakistani flags and a whole lot of people there, the police, the army, brigadiers,
And
the
then they're
generals,
saying these are
everybody.
civilians killed. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And then they say these are civilians killed. And why
absolutely.
have state funeral for civilians? But anyway, I understand, sir, and thank you for that entire perspective. But we hope to come back to you for more and get more perspectives from you. It's time for the MEA briefing now, so I'm going to leave you right now and then
Thank you,
hope to
ma'am.
connect with you again tomorrow.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
sir.